It is a distinct honor for me to be here in the home of Dr. Dan Gottlieb. I'm sure you know Dan from Voices in the Family on WHYY, from his articles in the Philadelphia Inquirer over the years. And Dan, I just can't thank you enough for allowing us to come into your home and to talk about resiliency. And you, of all people, to me, epitomized the resilient human being. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. Even in the few minutes we've spent together getting set up for this taping, I feel the same way about you, a man who is so devoted and has so much of your heart and spirit involved in the mission here of what education is really supposed to be about. And I am thrilled to do anything I can to help you in your mission.
As we were saying, education is being slammed throughout this country at the moment. This summer, the movie that came out is Bad Teacher. God forbid they put out a movie, Good Teacher, or Great Teacher. And in Upper Darby, we are seeing through the cuts in finances a threat to the dismantling of public education as we know it. And we believe so much in our mission and the children that we serve from 79 different countries, speaking 70 different languages. We have children who are economically well off, and then we have a lot of children who are economically challenged. And those families need us so much, and we believe in what we are doing. And I am concerned that all of us who are in this mission in Upper Darby don't lose hope, don't lose faith in that very, very important mission.
Well, I've got a couple of thoughts about that. One is, many years ago, I wrote an article for the Inquirer that turned out to be the most popular article I've written. And it was about 4 words that I felt could change the world. Cut divorce in half, cut down on international conflict. 4 words. Tell me your story. And then, once you say those 4 words, be quiet for a long time and just listen. Don't think about what you're going to say next, or how you can react, or how you can be helpful, or any of that crap. Just listen. And one other thing, imagine that story to be yours. Now, that can change the world. That can change a child's life. Just those 4 words. Because the greatest source of suffering in schools and in our culture today is alienation. People don't feel heard. They don't feel connected. And by the time kids are now in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, they've given up trying to get this sense of connection. Lou, I gave a talk at Kensington Middle School, impoverished neighborhood, one of the worst in the country. And they wanted to talk about disability. And I said, okay, I'll talk about disability, but then you have to give me half the class to hang out with the kids, just talk about you. So I did. Tell me your story. What's it like to be you? And after they warmed up, they told me horrific stories that really shook me to my roots. You know, gunshots all night, every night. Afraid to open the door, one girl said, because when her grandmother opened the door, she was killed. I mean, terrible stories of rape on the way to school. And I was shaken for several days. And then a few days later, I got the obligatory thank you notes from the kids. And they were just told to write and say thank you. what struck me was what they said almost every kid said. No one has ever asked us our story before. That hurt me more than the original story. That'll change someone's life. And Lou, when you do it and when I do it, it changes our lives. I'm not an educator. But to me, that's more important than math. Is helping a child feel more connected with the world more important than math. And I know because I sucked at math, and I'm pretty happy.
Well, I agree that we need to know our children. We need to know their lives. We need to know the parents and what they're going through.
And you need to hear from your teachers about their lives. And they need to hear from you. Let's open us up to one another. That's what I want for you, for all of us, Lou. Several years ago, I was at Jefferson Hospital, waiting to be picked up. I was in the lobby. And a woman coming out of what looked like a cancer unit with a turban on. And she was with her son. He had to be about 4 years old. And they were going out into a large revolving door. I'm just watching. And the little boy's holding his mother's hand. And referring to the revolving door, he says, "I'm scared, Mommy." And she says, "You know what, honey? I'm a little scared too." She said, "But we'll hold hands and go through it together." That's what I want for you in the light of being buffered by outside sources who don't understand and don't apparently wish to understand. We'll hold hands and go through it together, knowing each other's stories. What just happened?
You just hit the nail on the head.
It's not that complicated. It's difficult, but it's simple.
What about the individual, inside the individual? How do we help to give hope to the hopeless?
Say more. For example,
there are people who have worked very hard and paid their dues, had a vision, and now the vision that they had is not going to be the one that takes place. They have to now realize that their cheese has been moved, that the vision they have is not going to come true, but there is another way. That maybe it's God's plan, maybe it's the governor's plan, but somehow there's going to be a way that we're going to be successful together.
Yeah. You know, in Judaism, it's said, man plans and God laughs. Being a quadriplegic wasn't part of my plan. And burying my sister wasn't part of the plan. And living through a divorce and burying my wife, none of that was part of my agenda for my life. And with each one, I was devastated. I'm a happy guy. Not because I'm magical or there's anything special about me. There's really not. But because I've learned, that I've been hit over the head enough times that I now know that you get hit over the head, you wind up okay. I didn't know that the first 3 or 4 times I got hit over the head. 9 to 12 times, I'm learning a little bit. It's like the math thing. I just wasn't a good learner. But you know that you'll be okay. It's not according to your vision. Open up. Open up to the creativity that's in you. Open up to what life brings you right around the corner. And be excited to see what you're going to do with it, because you have no idea. I guarantee you. We talked about opening up to the unknowable. We have the illusion, the hallucination, that anything in the next moment is knowable. Who are we kidding? We barely know what's happening in this moment. Open up. Let's see. Let's see what it is. Let's see what we're going to bring to it, what it's going to do to us.
Is there a self-talk that you use? I mean, you've been through all these things that, you have to have some sense of confidence or self-confidence, some positive sense of yourself, and the maybe the track history of getting through these things, and I'll get through this one too. Is there something inside you that it's almost like a mantra of?
Well, I don't know. I really believe deep down inside that I'm a meatball, like most people. You look under the bell curve. I'm under the big hump. Like almost everybody watching this, we're under the big hump. So I no longer beat myself up because I think I should be somewhere else. I'm happy with who I am, knowing that sometimes I'm nuts, sometimes I'm depressed, but consistently in there's a core of kindness and goodness. And the more I know that, the more I trust it and have faith that it's in there, the more easy it is to love myself, others, my life, nature. And the more I love, the more I love. Anything we do can be habit forming. So the more love that is in our lives, the more well-being we'll have. So don't get lost in little pictures about funding. They're catastrophic. I don't want to minimize that. But don't lose touch with the big picture. And what's going to change your life and mine, what's ultimately going to change the world, is more love. You talk about a governor's budget. What's missing in there? It's compassion and love. We have to put that into the world. It's our responsibility. Those who know how to love, we have to do it better and teach it by being role models.
And that's where I think if we just keep the focus on the children, the rest of it's not important.
And love. Finding ways to love the children. Finding ways to love what appears unlovable. That's where the growth is.
I think we've got our story.
So now I told you my story. And you were a great listener. Thank you.
We could go on and on. The Serenity Prayer is one that, to me, is something that when I start coming apart, I have to go back to that and use that as something to regain focus.
Right.
And
or widen focus.
True.
Context. There's an article I read a couple of years ago about the aging brain, and the anatomy of it changes so that older people are able to see context better. That as we age, if we're lucky, we have an understanding that this moment is not the moment, it's a moment, if we're lucky.
And that's where wisdom comes in, I gather.
Widening the lens.
Dan, this has just been a terrific experience. And
Yeah.
I wish we had all of our conversation on tape, because I want to cherish it forever. And I hope that we have many more encounters together.
Yeah, me too.
I just truly loved it. And I've got tears in my eyes right now, so I can't thank you enough.
You're a good guy. You're a good guy. Yeah, they are lucky to have you.
Well,
So's your family. Good man.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure.